Welcome to Toysbackzen. This is my toy haul for the week. I was lucky enough for the second time in the last 2 months to go to a toy show, and this was the Canadian Toycon in Ontario. First thing I picked up was this Robotech Rand. I paid $10 for this. It's in the card, and I thought it was in great condition, so I thought it was a great buy. I've never had any Robotech figures before. I remember watching this as a kid in my mornings, waking up before breakfast and before school, along with Voltron and Astro Boy. And I'm a huge 3 3/4 O-ring figure collector, and this is perfect for that part of the collection. So I was happy to get that. So next I have some Imperial Guards. This is one of the Kenner Star Wars figures that I like to troop build. I also like to troop build the Death Star droid. These are great figures. I have quite a few of them now. I also have some from the 90s and from the 2000s too, but I just like these ones a lot. I had this figure as a child, and I played with it all the time. He was one of the only figures with cloth goods, and I thought that was awesome as a child. So I bought 2 of them. They were $20 a piece. And I think I paid a little bit too much for them, but because I really like this figure, I'm okay with spending that much on it. And next we have Bucky O'Hare figures. This is one of the figures that I got. I've been waiting to get him because I had the mask right here. You see it? And I've been looking for the figure. I got the figure for $5. And usually these figures are a lot more than that. He didn't have the weapon, but I'm okay with that. This is also a Bucky O'Hare figure. And there was a gentleman that was selling a whole bunch of mixed figures in some bins. I'll show the rest of the figures that I got in those bin finds here in a minute. I also managed to find a couple more Action Force vehicles to add to my collection. This is the Z-Force tank. It's in really great condition. Has the battery cover, and even inside the battery contacts are really clean. All the stickers seem to be present, and I'm really excited to get it. The turret gun here is a 3D printed one. I noticed that when I was buying it. I'm okay with that. I'll probably just take this turret and maybe paint it the proper color. I will be probably trying it out later on, probably not in this video, but I will try it and see if it works. I'm pretty sure it will because it doesn't seem to be rusted or anything like that. The vendor also had this. This is the Shadow Track. It's an enemy vehicle. It's a really cool vehicle. It's my first Shadows vehicle, and as you can see there, it is missing a couple guns and the antenna. But here you can see the logo on the front. I really like that. So that's pretty cool. So I'm really happy to get these 2 more vehicles in my collection. I now have 3 Action Force vehicles. And I like the tires too. The tires are rubber. So that's really neat. And you can see on the bottom it's stamped 1981. CPG products. These are made by Palitoy. And anybody in the UK, if you can tell me whether I get a good deal or not, or if I overpaid for these 2 vehicles. I paid $100 in Canadian funds for both of the Action Force vehicles. Or anybody who actually collects them here in North America, let me know if I overpaid or what the market is for these vehicles. Next, we're going to go to the figures that I got out of the bins. The Bucky O'Hare figure was one of them. This is a reaction figure. It was from the movie Big Trouble in Little China, I believe. Next, I have these Tonka figures, which are super hard to find, and I always find them to be very expensive. These are Tonka 3 3/4 inch figures from the line Steel Monsters, and he had 2 of them, so I snatched those right up. Now, because this was a dump bin and there was a whole bunch of random figures in there, and you had to buy like a certain amount to get the deal, I picked this up. This is a late 90s Voltron figure, and it's got the markings WEP, WEP, which is a company that made I believe the cartoon in the 80s. So yeah, that's the figure. I just picked him up because he has some cool chrome on him, and he is Voltron. And then there's these Construx figures I picked up. I've been collecting these Construx figures. They're cool. The Alien, and then he had a couple astronauts, but one was in really bad shape, so I picked this astronaut up here. They're kind of like 2.5 inches tall. So I got all of these figures, 6 figures, plus the duck-looking Bucky O'Hare figure for $10. Then I found a vendor who was selling lots of G.I. Joe figures, and I'm going to start customizing some G.I. Joe figures. So I picked out all the ones. Most of them was from 2000, like early 2000. So I picked out all the ones that had the O-rings in them. Didn't pick out any of the ones that he had that were more of the modern style G.I. Joe figures. So these are all 3 3/4 inch O-ring figures from early 2000s. And I'm going to use these to customize about 12 to, I think, 13 figures I'm going to customize into a group that I'm going to make. And you could see that in another video that I'm going to do probably pretty soon now that I have all these figures. And so you've got some green shirts, and you've got, I think one of them is Grunt, and we've got one here. Got this guy. Got this guy. This guy's really cool. I'm not going to customize him. I just picked it up because I think it was $10 for 3 for $10. I got them all for $20. Now I picked up this figure. I know she has 2 right arms. That's okay because I'm not going to be using the arms on this figure. I'll be using different arms, but I will be using her head and her legs and body for the custom that I make. And all of these figures came individually wrapped in little baggies with all of these weapons. So I even got some weapons to go with them too. I think there's a couple weapons that are original weapons to the figures. So that's cool. I can always use extra weapons for customizing. Now, when I first walked into the toy show, there was a vendor that had a bin there just full of random figures. And I got this figure. And this is an Air Raiders figure. So he stands about 2 inches tall. So that's awesome. Now, I didn't get all of these toys from the toy show. A friend of mine who is a picker, and he sells me all of his toys that he finds, found me this is a Buddy L Jeep. And it says bike hauler on the hood. These are from the 70s, probably late 70s, and it's just the right size for my Construx figures. I'm going to put them in the Jeep here and let them rest. They can drive around in the Jeep for a bit. So next, I knew that there was some Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I wanted to pick up. And Scareglow right here is one of them. And I kept seeing really high prices on this guy, like ridiculous prices. Of course, you're not going to find him in the stores. And so I picked him up for $35. I would have rather gotten him for $20-25. In the toy show I went to last month, I saw Ninja there, and I regret not picking him up. So this time I saw the same vendor, even though this toy show was in a different town. The same vendor was there because, well, I'm only an hour away from the first toy show. I went to this toy show, he was there. He still had the Ninja figure, $25. I'm happy to pay that on the aftermarket. That was my toy haul, mostly from the toy show, but I've got some other things that I got from my picker friend. And I get some other stuff that I got from my picker friend, but it was nothing I really wanted to show. It wasn't anything spectacular. So I wanted to thank everybody for watching. Thanks to all my subs for sticking with me. I'm hoping you enjoy the content. If you do, please like my videos, share it with friends that you know, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We'll see you on the next video.